¿Cómo andan, locos? ¿Qué se cuenta? Bueno, seguimos, ¿eh? Estábamos en Menanci y ya nos vamos a la próxima zona. No hice nada, ¿eh? No hice nada. La verdad no me puse bien. Así que nos van a romper la cola, que nos la rompan bien, loco.
I wonder what we'll find out there this time.
Most likely Zoogles, I would reckon.
I mean, other than them.
Bueno, acá parece que hay un búho. Algo más. Y hay un lugar de descanso. Ahí vamos a pegar una recorrida.
That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and that'll be that.
Acá hay un búho, ¿eh? Ya que voy a tener que derrotarlo a esto para liberar un poco la zona. Son niveles 20, por suerte. Uy, loco.
I'm only getting started. If they rush you, you gotta just recover, okay? This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Bien,
That's some power you wield.
busquemos al
You were the
búho.
one who did the heavy
Al
lifting.
búho loco. Ahí está el búho.
Ooh.
Ah, mierda. Es más difícil de ver, ¿eh? Dice esto. Por acá, ¿eh? Ah, mirá dónde está.
Look, Hoodle, one of your buddies.
Bien. A ver.
Right, here goes. You're mine. Not today. I'm on it. Swallow blade. Infernal torrent. Do it. Totally hurt.
Flame!
In an instant. Impact block.
To achieve such harmony.
Takes a singular will.
A fish! You saw it.
En algún momento voy a aprender a pescar.
I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
Ahora sí, pesca, dice. Hay varios sitios de pesca diseminados por Dana que contienen especies diferentes de peces para que atrapes. Úsalos como ingredientes en recetas o véndelos para obtener auros. Unos peces desbloquean títulos, así que no dudes en visitar sitios de pesca nuevos. Son 4. Pasos de pesca. Son 4. Lanzar el sedal, atraer a los peces, engancharlos y recoger el sedal. Para saber más de esto, consulta el tema controles de pesca. Bueno, y te va a enseñar la chica.
I hope we catch something decent.
Indeed. Hungry bellies are counting on this. There we go.
No sé ni qué estoy haciendo, ¿eh?
Anybody could reel in that.
Bueno,
Guess it's
lo
important
agarré.
to stay calm.
Es complicado, loco, ¿eh?
Reel it in.
¡Ay! Lo agarré igual, ¿eh?
Anybody could reel in that.
Guess it's important to stay calm.
Bueno, vámonos, bueno, no vamos a pasar todo el día pescándolo. Pero bueno.
And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us.
Bien. Esto es lo que quería, ya se pesca.
Okay.
Se encuentran pescador experto, se encuentra en la laguna de Talca y te enseñará los conceptos básicos de la pesca. Si le muestras tus notas de pesca, te dirá dónde atrapar a los peces que no has conseguido y te otorgará equipo de pesca nuevo según los que has atrapado. Otro minijuego, ¿no? No deja de ser eso. Upa,
I'm always amazed what healing arts can...
me dio un escudo. A la chica, ¿no? Evidentemente
Do. Just doing my job.
no lo
Maybe it's a-
necesito.
Is it just me? Or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey, though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it.
Bueno, punto de viaje agregado. Bienísima. Buenísima.
I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
Bien. Voy a acampar porque quiero recuperar. Está por acabar la bonificación de defensa. ¿Y esto? Gana un 4% más de experiencia. Mal no recuerdo, en el Final Fantasy XV había una comida. Yo esta creo que la busqué en internet. No me acuerdo cómo era. Había un plato especial que te aumentaba bastante, creo, la experiencia. O el porcentaje de experiencia obtenida, ¿no? Vamos. Mira, pues, me da 10% de defensa.
Thanks for waiting. Eat as much as...
Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives. So it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol. The one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind, either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
I'll take watch tonight. It's okay.
La musiquita es re de Final Fantasy. No me jodan. Copy paste. Mira. Lo tiene una nueva insignia. A mí, de verdad que cuando es muy importante cuando te aparece el R1 para iniciar un diálogo, porque muchas de las veces lo que te permite es habilitar nuevas insignias. Así que,
Before we go, do you guys have everything?
vamos a ver qué hay para... Mira, para vender, puedo vender los dos pescaditos que agarré. A ver si puedo forjar algo nuevo en el horno. Me pide una espada larga. La tendría que comprar y después me pide caparazón esférico duro. Ya vos podés construir armas mejoradas de otras armas. Tenés que comprar la básica. Ya me pide rugido ignis. O sea que después necesito 2 sacros flamígeros de dragón. Está poniendo complicado, loco. Ya vamos a encontrar la vuelta. Bueno, no hay mucho más. Vamos.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman, and this is my chance to have a new beginning.
Mucho diálogo,
Sure is
bien.
one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danon, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danons in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danons in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
A ver, ¿qué tenemos? Uy, upa. Bueno, acá tenemos tema, ¿eh? Tenemos tema. Halcón nivel 27.
Brace yourselves.
Vamos, ¿eh?
Here I come. It's over.
Glacial Spear. Here's evil. Airborne
You're
Beast.
mine.
Coming
won't save
Freeze Lancer.
Elusive deity!
Got fire.
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
Start up. Here I all yours. Start up. Burn in hell.
Do it.
Take this.
Go for it.
Prepare to crumble!
Now. It's over. Take this. Severing wind. Take this.
Take this!
Start up.
Elusive deity can't get out of this!
Take this. You're
Natural
finished.
Spear.
Take this. It's over.
Freeze Lancer.
Start up. Take this.
I'm
You're
ready.
finished.
Who wants to die next?
Tempest! Elusive deity! Can you take
You're
it?
finished.
Glacial, I never miss. I can handle it.
Tempest! Blow them away! You can use martial arts too?
Am I overstepping my bounds?
Los niveles 27 se ve que los puedo derrotar. Eso de algo me dijo ahí. No llegué a leer bien. Uy, ¿estos dos quiénes son, loco?
All right.
Dice, ¿qué dice? Prenderé. Dice, hace que crezcan zarcillos del suelo y atrapen a un enemigo. Es útil contra los enemigos con celeridad porque anula las habilidades evasivas y los derriba.
There's nowhere to run from my heart.
When he slows down, that's our chance.
Here I go.
Leave the agile ones to
Take
me.
this.
Take this!
Mega Ray.
Begin!
Gemini Aqua.
First strike.
Does it hurt? Elusive deity! Can you take it?
Take it. I'm only getting
No
started.
further!
Mega Ray.
Now in the groove!
Annihilation.
Dice, cuando aparecen enemigos rápidos, como los lobos o monos, envía a dos Halim. Dice, el ataque de impulso anula las habilidades evasivas e impide que esquiven los golpes.
Prepare to be sealed! Eat this! Take this!
Start up. Start up.
Shouldn't have messed with me! Begin! Elusive deity! Eat this! Begin!
Wind.
Dragon shout! It's
Start
time!
up. Here I come. You're finished.
Here I go.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Vamos.
Ancient deity! Do it! Nexus law! Hey! Blow them away! How's that?
No!
Acceptable.
Come on, roll now! Here, do it! Law! Hey! Blow them away!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
Destructor de cocodrilos. Dice, artefactos. Otorgan efectos especiales cuando los tienes y algunos de esos efectos son bonificaciones que pueden conservar cuando completas el juego. Dichos efectos se activan o desactivan de la lista de efectos de artefactos. Ah, mira vos. Puedes configurar 6 artes adicionales. Pulsa triángulo en la pantalla de artes para cambiar de panel. Las del segundo se ejecutan cuando pulsas L2. Mirá vos.
That treasure. What is...
A ver. Mira. Ah, claro, está bien. Está bueno, te da un set más de habilidades. Es interesante. Las puedes ejecutar con L2. Por ejemplo, ¿no? Hoja migratoria la tengo. Anillo demoníaco. No. Entonces lo ves, lo pongo acá. Devastación eterna. Y bajo reinante. Vamos a probar esto. Obviamente todo esto con cada uno de los personajes, ¿no? Uy, y la de la chica, primeros auxilios. Acá. Interesante. Círculo curativo. Ardiente creo que lo tenía, ¿no? Lanza congelante. El círculo curativo está bueno.
Sweet sounding ring.
No, espera. El círculo curativo está bueno porque es un
You don't
área
think so?
donde la chica hace para que... Un círculo que pone en el piso para que cure.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me
Ah,
as having
Ross.
much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
No te ir para ahí, quiero venir para acá. Voy a pegar una grabada, ¿no? Por las dudas.
Looks like trouble. Capital T in a bind.
Together, we've got this! Elusive deity! You're finished! Take this!
I shall provide assistance.
Elusive deity! It's over!
The enemy wields arts too.
We'll soon see about that.
Ay, se me cortó justo.
Don't mind if I do.
Ignite!
Prepare to be sealed, O fleeting foot. Actually, sound is more appropriate.
Less talking and more doing.
Ay, la vida, la vida, la vida.
Resonate with the earth. So much for sitting this fight
Esta vez el círculo curativo. Voy a quitar, amiga.
Too much!
Take this.
I never miss.
Here I come!
I wish I could throw like you, Law.
You wish to learn my secret, young Elfin?
Yes, Master.
Please, teach me the art of it. You are Grandmaster Kisar for that.
The tide of battle has turned.
That's the power of comrades in arms.
Right. Comrades in arms.
Too sentimental?
Take this!
Lightning!
Elusive deity now.
Resonate with the earth.
I'm on it.
Stalagmite! Lightning! Here, let me help.
It's over!
First
Destruction! Win! Eat dirt!
Talon sword!
You're mine!
Flame of fury!
Talon
Hurricane! Do it!
Lightning strike!
Hey!
Blow them away!
How's that?
Now!
Acceptable.
Here I come! It's over! Do it! Show me!
Dale, morite.
In an instant! Impact block!
Bueno, hay que jugarme un poco con los combos.
I can feel my precision improving.
Con el L2 sobre todo. Uy, 7300. Ahora que tengo el L2, donde tengo más habilidades, está bueno. Vamos. 3 halcones.
This one will be difficult to predict.
I'm like bait to them.
It's over!
Glacial steel! Here's the evil!
Sever and win!
I'm not so good with airborne targets.
Hurricane! Flying
Where are you
crazy.
going?
Why can't they just sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Burn it! Do it! Show me! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
It's over!
Can't get out of this!
Take this!
Searing flame!
Ay, se me acabó justo.
Now you see what I can do. Take this.
Here's the evil!
You are the epitome of brawn before brain. Thank you. It's mostly.
Do it!
All yours, Kisara. My exploits are bearing fruit.
It's so
Vamos a ver.
hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
Bueno, ahí tengo enemigos.
That's not hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of
Pimienta.
trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Vamos.
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly. Leave the enemy's arc to me.
No complaints here.
If it's in the sky,
An admirable display of force.
Ay, me agarró justo.
Never mind.
well, someone seems in tip-top. We've all got enough on our plate.
Uy, ese círculo curativo está re bueno.
This one's mine. Well, we're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your eyes off the prize.
I'm quite aware without you reminding me.
The earth throbs.
In an instant! Impact block!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Bueno, por acá no hay más nada. Acá. Vamos a desviarnos un poquito.
I'm surrounded!
Here I come! Try this!
Eat this!
Infernal torrent!
Elusive deity!
Burn in hell!
Radiant, look here!
Here I come!
Powered hurricane! I can carve through armor!
Lightning! Hear me! Flame and
Elusive
flame!
deity!
Coming through!
Take it!
Glacier
I'm
Spear!
ready!
Here's the evil!
All yours, Kisara.
Now! You're mine!
That's it! Now
Take this! You're mine!
Let the marksman
No
handle
further! I'm
Here I
not
go.
done!
I'm already getting started!
An astral art?
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
All good things!
You're mine!
That's quite a talent!
Your father once made the same remark.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
Me encanta ver las combinaciones de cada uno. Está re buena. Cada grupo que ataca.
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
Cada grupo que ataca son... Los ataques son distintos, ¿no? Está bueno, está bueno. ¿Qué tenemos acá? Uy, son 3, locos. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Darle, loco, a darle.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Hermoso, hermoso.
It's like trying to keep up with a wall here. Let me help. First aid!
Elusive deity! I shall ensure you survive this.
Flame! Reload!
Resonate with the earth. Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
First aid!
Really owe you one.
Hear me!
Resonate with the
Fury!
earth. Attack time!
Glacier Spear! Here's the evil!
Severing wind! Stardust! You're mine! Stardust! Strike!
Can you take it? Eat this! Take this!
Hurricane!
No further!
Mega Ray!
Ignite!
Back into the fray!
You're mine!
Mega Ray!
Flash! Try this!
Elusive deity!
Infernal
I'll
torrent!
face you! I'm on it!
Benediction.
Demon Fang! Here I come!
Thanks for the concern.
Simple repayment for a favor of.
I don't grant favors, and I don't accept them either.
Art expert coming through!
It's over!
Can you take
Don't
it?
mind if I do! Healing!
You're mine!
You're done!
Did you just
Do it!
win?
Yes, I need
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Lightning! This
Now!
one's
You're
mine!
mine!
I never miss!
I'm ready!
Wind!
Rinwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
My turn! I'm not
Eat
done!
this!
Do it!
Shield!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Muy bueno. Muy bueno.
How much
A
longer
ver,
will
cofre,
our
cofre.
healing arts last?
Manto a la pétrea.
I
Es
found some
la,
equipment.
es la maguita esta. A ver. Es de esta, ¿no? Pensé que era de esta. Ah, es de este loquito.
Let me take a look at it.
Ya veo que el loquito, el pelirrojo, lo equipo todo re bien, lindo, hermoso, y después me termina recagando después. Voy a ver algo en el mapa. Sé Voy a necesitar tener que tener que gastar una gelatina naranja para aumentar los PC. Aunque no me
More
guste.
Dan and ruins here too, I see.
Bueno, ya estamos en la mitad del camino, ¿eh?
What were people even
Pero una
thinking
miradita
back
por acá.
then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
Claro que no apareció un búho.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all
Ahí viene, ahí viene.
downhill from here.
No solo.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Soda! Here I come! It's over!
Do you require a hand?
No escape! Ignite! Resonate with the earth! Demon Flash! Crush! Do it!
Meanwhile, light burst forth!
Radiant finish it!
Over so soon?
Don't get careless.
Take this!
Don't tell me.
Save you! You're finished!
Radiant
Flash!
here!
Try this! Infernal Torrents! Here I come! Ah! Infernal Devastation! Can you take it? Here I come!
Not so fast!
Do it!
Kisara!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here I go.
Resonate with the earth!
I'm ready!
This one's got your name on it.
Ash to ash!
So, fire and earth astral
Mira,
energy,
acá hay
huh?
una.
A perfect combination.
Ahí hay para bajar. A ver, por acá hay algo. Salvia
What's this
roja.
thing?
Mm. Más astral. ¿Qué hay acá? Hay algo.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
I don't know about that.
It's on! Swallow Blade!
Ready. By the power of water. Where are you going?
I'm not done! Wind!
Annihilation. Mega ray.
Soda! You're finished! Do it! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Finally time swap.
It's over! Eat dirt! I'm ready! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We're a pretty lethal combination, aren't we?
What can I say? I had a good partner.
Pico tormentoso. Bueno, a ver, ¿qué tenemos por acá? Arriba hay algo, ¿no? Cristal inhibidor. Hay un cofre. Hay un cofre al final del
An opponent like this is
camino.
easy.
Hey, when did I get paid?
Try this! Infernal Torrent!
Eat this! In a bind?
No escape! Wind! Stardust! Take this!
Now you see what I can do!
You're finished!
Getting started.
I'm on a roll!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed walk.
Mine.
Elusive deity!
Wind!
Where are you going?
Take this!
Not so
You're
fast.
finished!
A new melody.
Take this!
I'm ready. Light burst forth.
Radiant finish it.
Now!
Steering
You're mine!
blade.
This time! You picked the wrong fight!
Eat this!
Stardust!
Ay, me cagó el combo.
I'm
ready!
Menos mal que había alguien cerca siguiéndolo, ¿no?
Not a chance! No escape!
I'm out of ammo.
Stardust! Take this!
This one's got your name on it.
Siempre que puedas hacer un combo largo y que puedas activar los ataques especiales, hacelo porque
I can feel my precision improving.
es lo mejor. Bueno, a ver. El problema es que me estoy quedando sin PC, loco. Oh.
Get lost!
Resonate with you. Stalagmite.
Denied! All in the sky is mine!
No
I
escape.
never miss!
You're finished. Start up. You're mine. You're finished.
Searing flame! Not in your dreams! Reload!
Strike. I'm not tired.
Hurricane!
Start up.
Oh, now you're talking. Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah.
Piercing
Try this.
Here.
Infernal turret.
I'm ready. Blow them away. How's that?
Do it. You're mine.
Uy, le recabió.
Blow them away.
Por rápido, por rápido.
You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be, in this world.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
Hay un cofre acá, Ah, hasta acá. Vamos con otra gelatina. Vamos con un guardado porque si no.
Let's see what you've got.
I can carve through armor.
Take this. It's over.
Dragon Shell.
You're mine.
Another incantation ruined.
Take this. It's over.
Here, let me help.
Leave the chargers to me.
Try this. Infernal turret.
Far enough.
Strike.
Do it!
Silver wing.
Light burst forth.
Radiant Denizen!
Not a chance.
Strike.
Hurricane. Not today.
Take it.
Severing wing. Here I come.
This one's
You're
mine!
finished.
I'll run you
I
through.
never miss!
Talon storm.
Do it!
Kisara. All yours, Kisara. My turn.
Dragon
Take this.
Start up.
Do it. Hey. Blow them away. How's that?
My turn. Take this. You're finished.
Freeze Lancer!
Start up. Hit.
I'm ready.
Double leap. In an instant. Impact block.
Qué bueno. Me encantan los combos. Me encantan. Los combos. Porque vos, si hay varios enemigos,
Takes a singular will.
si hay varios enemigos, agarrás, le das a uno, le das, combo, haces el golpe final y automáticamente seguís con otro y le das combo, golpe final y te vas a otro enemigo. Es buenísima, como vas saltando de un enemigo a otro. Bueno, sí es la vida, loco. ¿Qué me dio? Abrigo de mago.
This'll make us.
Este sí es de la chica. Bien,
Even more
bien.
formidable.
Es bueno. Tomarse ahí un tiempo.
Through these lands most verdant green, my eyes alight for sights unseen. In Menancia, pure and pristine.
What is it you see exactly?
That's not for me to say.
Bueno, vamos a dejarlo acá. Avanzamos de a poquito. Ya nos metimos en esta caverna. Sería bueno meternos acá a ver qué hay. ¿Sí? Pueden ir por acá. Y por último por acá. Hay que ver, porque capaz que en vez de venir acá, tenemos que venir acá. No sé para dónde nos va a llevar el juego, ¿no? Pero lo que voy a hacer es eso. Yo siempre barro, no trato de barrer siempre toda la zona. Entonces, si vengo de arriba hacia abajo, lo que conviene es venir para acá y después seguir para abajo, ¿no? Pero continuamos en el próximo capítulo. Si el video te gustó, dale like, compartí, suscribite, haz todo eso. Te mando un saludo. Nos vemos. Chau, chau.